Hey guys, it's Arya. It's gonna be a quick video today, just doing a deck tech. Shout out to the guy who recognized me from my videos at regionals. It was a total surreal moment for me. So if you're out there watching, hey bud. Yeah, making this deck tech for a friend of mine who's playing Modern this weekend. The Eldrazi deck is a menace to say the least. I don't feel favored against that deck. I don't feel. I actually don't think it's a good matchup. Personally, I don't think I want to be playing Modern like anymore. I'm done with it. There's no reason to play. Eldrazi broke it, and no other decks. I'm not gonna complain about the format right now. I've given my fair warnings, and for a friend of mine is playing this deck, and just wanted to explain some of the card choices and like the direction the deck is going now. At least for me. The main thing you've noticed is, or you may have noticed, is we cut Wild to Coddle. We don't have any. We have a low creature count again. We don't even have Grim Lavamancers anymore. We have these 8 creatures, these Swift Spear, and these Goblin Guides, and those are like the creatures. And then like Eidolon is like kind of a creature or whatever. We're playing a Shard Volley because we want. All right, so essentially what the deck's trying to do now is everyone's boarding in like removal, and some people are boarding in counter spells, but like a lot of the Abzans, a lot of the even the Eldrazi, they're all boarding in like dismembers to beat us, and paths and bolts and things like that. They're very good against our deck traditionally, and people like are boarding in pyroclasms, and I've even seen a Return to Kozilek and Fire Spout and Anger of the Gods, all these things that are great against us. People are boarding those in. So what we're trying to do is make the cards that they board in for us dead. So that's one of the things I'm trying to do with this deck at this point. Like, you beat Abzan and they flip their hand up. It's 2 abrupt decays and a path, and you boarded all your creatures out, and you're just a genius because you leveled them. They're boarding for your 60, and you board for their 75. That's the plan. So things that we've gone up on, I've noticed my life total has mattered a lot in all the matches I've played. Things are very linear now thanks to the Eldrazi deck. There are very few decks trying to control you and go long game. So since my life total is a huge contributing factor to how most of the games go, we're up to 4 Lightning Helix and 4 Lightning Helix main deck. Excuse me. And I don't know if you've noticed, but we have this in the sideboard now, and none of them main. We're red white burn main deck. We have 2 Copperline Gorge to help smooth out our draws when we bring in the green source. It doesn't hurt our mana at all. Having them in for game 1s and having no green spells. If anything, it'll give our opponent something to think about that he doesn't have to think about. I've heard not arguments. I've had someone complain to me that Copperline, why make your mana bad, and it's a tap land after turn 4. Listen, if it's my 4th land, I'm going to lose that game. I'm just losing. 4 Skullcracks main deck. I still have the 4 Tarkus Command sideboard because there are matchups where you want the 8 Skullcrack effects, and generally those matchups are the ones where your life total doesn't matter a lot. A lot of white decks, Tron. You want to be able to get Worm Coils. Anything with like big dumb idiot lifelink. You want. Or even Martyr Sands, like you want in the 8 Skullcracks. Let's see what else we can bring up. We're up to the 3rd Sacred Foundry in the mana base. Still 3 basics. This can be cut for another fetch if you like. I like having a 3rd basic because Ghost Quarter is really popular right now to beat the Eldrazi deck, and I like having mana to get with the Ghost Quarter. So yeah, 4 back up to 4 Rift Bolts, 4 of essentially everything, even Searing Blaze. I think Shard Volley is the only not 4 of in the main deck. Let's go to sideboard. We went down to 3 path for a while, and then the Eldrazi came out. We had to go back up to 4, so 4 path. The 4 extra Skullcrack and the Stomping Ground. Oh, something I didn't mention. When you board in the Stomping Ground, generally take out a Mountain, because you're fetching Mountain. So like in the Burn Mirror or like any Life Total Matters mirror where they're like fetch, shock, and then you're just like fetch, basic. They've given you 2 free cards, and you've given them 2/3 of a card. So you're just ahead on damage in life. And if it's Burn Mirror and they fetch shock twice and you only fetch shock once, the game's over. I've said multiple times, the person who fetch shocks the least wins. So So sideboarding with this deck is essentially just bring in like silver bullets because you never really want to like dilute your deck a whole bunch. Like I board out creatures. Like I board out Goblin Guide a fair amount, and I usually leave in 2 Swift Spear against like black green decks just to like respect towards Liliana, so I can pin a Liliana after they've Edict. But yeah, you never really want to dilute your deck too much, too idle on out on the draw against like Burn and Merfolk. I guess anything that has Aether Vial, too out on the draw. You never want to dilute everything like too much. I guess Skullcrack would be like one of the slower burn spells if like they're not gaining life. Like Affinity, you want to take Skullcrack out, even though it's useful against Vault Scourge. It's not what you want to be doing in that matchup. Yeah, Silver Bullets that I'm bringing in a lot. Destructive Revelry. I mean, you know what this is for. Affinity, Boggles, White Leyline, whatever. Ancient Grudge. Yep. It's for artifacts. That's what it's for. I mean, you can read the card. What's his name? Ensnaring Bridge. Lantern Control. Lantern Control deck is starting to pick up a little bit of popularity because I've been hearing some hearsay that it has the tools needed to beat the Eldrazi deck. So, Ancient Grudge is going to be very good against them. I guess Sunshock is the spiciest card in the sideboard at this point. Sunshock has been very, very good for me. People have been playing Infect a lot and to outrace the Eldrazi deck, and Infect is historically a good matchup. I feel very comfortable in it, but there are a lot of not a lot. I'd say 30% of the matches. This is a rough estimate. 30%. 30%. We're just like dead on 2 or 3. Usually not 2. We're dead on 3, and like we have a bolt. They only have 12 to 14 creatures with the word 12 to 15 creatures with the word infect even written on them, and like everything here hits an infect creature. But Sunshock is just house, and Sunshock is very good against Affinity because a lot of people will just slam a Ravager and they get like comfortable and they think that there's nothing that. They're like, there's no way I'm going to mess this up. I have Ravager in play. And then you Sunshock, and it's over. Sunshock, so the Malira company, Coco, Abzan, Podless Pod, whatever it's called now, that deck started to pick up in popularity because I've also been hearing hearsay that has a non-zero matchup against the Eldrazi deck. This is an instant speed way to break up their combo. You can't beat Infinite Life. Our deck, this deck, Burn, cannot beat Infinite Life gain. Or even if they just gain like 1,000. They don't even have to gain the preposterous amount they usually do. 19 octillion. It doesn't matter. They gain 1,000 life. We're never coming back. We just don't have enough. I haven't sat down and counted all the points of damage in my deck, but it can't be over 500. So, Sunshock is a great way to break up that combo instant speed. They aggressively try to get to the combo because they know that we can't beat it. So they sacrifice a lot of other things to like put the combo into play. Like they just ignore your 2 mana up. They think it's a burn spell, so they just like tap out for this chord and they put a chord in and they put a whatever piece they're missing in, and you just like kill the Viscera Seer with all the sacks on the stack or the homeboys in the yard, or you just kill. I mean, you can kill Malira, you can kill whatever you want. Sunshock, they can't do anything about it. Sunshock's been very good for me. I recommend it. Things you're not seeing anymore. Pirate Spellbomb. I like the card a lot. I've been seeing Reality Hemorrhage around. That's the new spell out of Battle for Zendikar. It's the colorless shock for 2 mana. I think that card is trash. It's a strict downgrade from Pirate Spellbomb. I would make fun of somebody to their face for playing it. There's no reason to play it. It's just strictly worse on every front. You break up 1 and 1 mana or 1 mana and 1 red. Instead of playing it all at once. It gets hit by Spell Snare and Dispel and all the other things people are boarding in to beat you. And it's just on its face an awful idea to have that card in your deck instead of Pirate Spellbomb. The only thing I've heard, and Pirate Spellbomb is the upside of maybe even drawing a card. The only thing I've heard that's even an argument is once Pirate Spellbomb is in play, the play is face up on the table so your opponent can play around it. If you're tapping 2 mana to shock something, then why not just have the ability to split up that mana cost over the course of 2 turns? I don't know. Anybody playing Reality Hemorrhage is doing it wrong. You can make fun of them to their face. Something else you don't see in here. Firecraft. Blue decks are gone. Banned Twin. Blue decks are gone. There's nobody playing Island anymore. So you don't need that kind of uncounterable threat. I've heard questions about why we're not playing Flames of the Blood Hand. So something I really like with this deck now that we've like taken out a lot of the things, we are the top of our curve, like hole 75 is 2 mana. Rift Bolt costs 1 mana. It is 2 mana, so you can keep a one lander in a, let's say you have a 6 card hand or even a 7 card hand. You have a decent 7 card hand with like 4/1 drops, even 4/1 drops on one land. It doesn't matter what the rest of your hand is. You're only one land away from casting the rest of your hand. So I really like that is a thing in the deck. If you keep a one lander, you're one land away from having all the lands in your deck. Shard Volley is the only exception where you essentially want to be casting this last. Yep, so that's kind of going over everything. If anyone has any questions, please let me know. I'll be happy to answer. Good luck in your tournaments this weekend.